Ladies and gentlemen, now it has been an absolutely tragic week for Kabam. We have had Rhino, the most disappointing buff of the decade, the great prestige robbery of 2025, and the worst update and overhaul to monthly event quests by a country mile that we have ever seen in the history of the game. Like, there's so much wrong in terms of how they've structured this. And let's break it down piece by piece. So firstly, you can no longer go straight to the highest difficulty. You need to do the classic completion to get through to Elder. So essentially, it's like they're forcing you into the Thronebreaker difficulty in order to unlock Valiant. Because that's what I wanted to do yesterday, right? I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to check out Elder. Just want to toggle it on. Oh, I can't do that. It's locked behind completion. So that's the first thing. And the rewards sucked for Classic as well. That, you know, there's just nothing there. It feels like a complete waste of time because you only get to like milestone number 6 and you get these glorious rewards here. So these rewards, you know, the hottest rewards of 2018, right here in the milestones, at least early on. The next thing is like the tuning on this as well is like, what? I don't get it, dude. So if you go in, it's not only like doing Thronebreaker, but it's a twice as grindy version that has exponentially more attack as well. So just for comparison, I'm going to show you the classic difficulty at my kind of prestige and scaling level. And granted, like, I'm not the biggest blubberiest boy. I've only got like, you know, one 7-star rank 4 ranked up at the moment. I'm sitting on like 4 upgrades, just waiting for the Titan opening next week. And look at this here, man. We've got this blade who has 700,000 health and 18,700 attack. Now, to put this into perspective, this is the classic difficulty in this one that they released yesterday. This is the Valiant difficulty that I'm about to show you. This Karnak here, this is my first experience with a Valiant Gauntlet. Kabam kind of cooked, having a great time. If you look here, this Karnak has just under 500,000 hit points and just under 8,000 attack. And we're going to tab back into classic difficulty. This is classic and not the Elder difficulty here. This is the one with the bad rewards. We've got 700,000 health and just under 19,000 attack. So it's really like double and a bit attack. And, you know, pretty much double the health of previous Thronebreaker. But we're up about, you know, nearly 50% from the previous Valiant. So the requirements have gone up like crazy. The chance you're going to die is pretty insane there. But that's you know, that's just the warm-up. That is the entree. And you've got to clear that for pretty much no rewards. You're doing all that work essentially for free to unlock Elder difficulty there. Now, when you get into Elder, the scaling goes up a little bit more. So you've got to do in Elder, we're going back to the format we had at the start of it, where it's like one champion, and then you got to switch for the next fight, but you don't get to heal up. So health is persistent throughout this, and bear in mind, the attack used to be, again, at around 8,000 average, and now we are looking in a ballpark that is so much higher, 22,500. That is almost triple the attack value there, and the health has nearly doubled. There's certain fights on this path, because I wanted to do a full run just to test this. The damage is crazy. You know, if you get hit, you're going to die very, very quickly. Even taking block damage as well. Certain characters are going to absolutely rinse you with these values, because they are so much more inflated than they were previously. So yeah, be very, very aware of that. And also, I found in this one in particular, so you've got some of these like event quest nodes like Biohazard and Seeing Red, where you get the bleed and then you get the bleed damage reduction. I was finding with certain characters at 7-star rank 1 level, they were always or very quickly getting into like net negative damage, even with this 90% damage reduction. So basically, even with willpower, I could not out heal the bleed unless it was 1 stack. And even at 1 stack, I was completely neutral on it. So if I was taking 2 or 3 stacks, just because there's so much attack on the opponent and the attack affects the amount of bleed damage, yeah, you're going to need a very stacked ranked up roster for every single one of these fights that has a way to deal with that. So I think for casual progressing players, again, there are so many different scaling points that this can be at, but this has now increased the requirements so much from what they were previously on the Valiant Gauntlet to a level that I feel like just makes the what should be kind of a wide, exciting piece of content. You know, it's the new monthly event quest. There was a time, you know, pre-2020, these events were really hyped. They were celebrated, they were looked forward to, and people really enjoyed kind of returning to jump back in. But dude, a returning player trying to jump back in and get good rewards from this is just is pretty crazy to me, man. Even on like the classic difficulty is just absolute beans. I don't know what they've done, and also on top of that, the reward structure, it feels initially the worst it has ever felt because everything is backloaded, fat-tailed toward the end, because you now need to essentially get these mark things. I think it's like Ethereum or something like that. And it's above like the Elder in yellow, and right next to the crown, you see that 9 out of 30. So completing any quest or path, and when you do the Elder difficulty as well, it's going to auto complete anything you haven't done on Classic. So the smoothest path to getting all of the reward milestones is basically complete Classic and then complete Elder. And then you can get all of the rewards. However, you can see I've done the full run of Classic and also one in Elder, but I'm only 9 out of 30. And if I push forward as well, I'm going to get to the 12 out of 30. But the big rewards, they're really like worthwhile stuff. Because here, even at like, 15 out of 30, so when I do quest number 3, I'm going to get this. That's 500 tier 7 basic, right? Nothing too spicy there. Really, it's kind of like 4, 5, and 6 that are going to be super fat-tailed and have all of the rewards from the end of the milestones. So you need to get through, you know, those like, what is it, 60-something fights in Elder difficulty across the first 4 quests before you start to get the really good stuff. That's assuming you don't want to go back and kind of use the time, the energy, and potentially resources to do classic 100% exploration. So what are the proposed changes? Well, the first thing is immediate access to Elder difficulty. You should just be able to jump in. There's no reason why you should need to clear classic. I know Kabam might want to farm, you know, more like revive consumption or energy consumption off players, but I think it's just super lame. It is super, super lame there. Monthly event quest should be something to be enjoyed and that people are very excited to come back to, because it's an anchor of what makes them want to return to the game and kind of get involved in the monthly cycle. So that is the first thing, is Elder difficulty should be an immediate. The second thing is like, what are these values, guys? Come on, they're just so silly, man. These values need to be heavily, heavily looked at for both the Classic and the Elder difficulty, and think about what really is the intention of what you want players to experience in these monthly event quests. Because yeah, this, in my opinion, I think is going to be way too much for the majority of the community. I think the attack value is absolutely absurd. I can maybe see like the health value staying a little bit higher because there are big kind of booster and modification nodes, but I think the attack value is so absurd just to triple it from the previous version. And even having Classic like double what Valiant was before, it's just silly, man. It's really, really silly. And the final thing, I just think like how you play through this and you get rewards assigned just need to be looked at to make sure it like hits a satisfying mark. Because I think like completion is like, you know, is just underwhelming. Like getting these rewards, you've just got to be at a very kind of much earlier point in progression if you can do the Classic difficulty to be excited for these, because these are very, very outdated rewards. I think these should hit at least some sort of meaningful mark, and they should breadcrumb the more meaningful rewards for endgame players like the tier 7 basic in milestones that kind of reflect progression through the Elder difficulty as well, because it just feels yeah, really weird at the moment having everything so backloaded. It's the most backloaded it has ever been in this kind of format, and one of the things I liked going back to, very original first 5 years monthly event quest design was I remember having certain accounts that could maybe only do 100% in the first chapter. Maybe I only had the answers, the counters for those, but I could still get something good by doing 100% in that first chapter there. So that felt pretty nice back in the day, just picking up things as I was going along, and just stretching my rosters on free-to-play accounts as far as I could. But yeah, I'm really disappointed overall. I think Kabam, they've had a big week. They've had a lot of chances to do things, and I think they've just scored a lot of own goals this week, a lot of very kind of avoidable situations. So it's been quite disappointing to see. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on the new monthly event quest in the comments section below. And if you did enjoy this video, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.